Welcome to Room 442, this Monday edition, and what to talk about today. The Chartanian Derby ends with Spurs.
You might have to explain that one, by the way, what that means.
The Chartanian Derby?
Charmin Vartanian.
I'm focusing on the Chart part of it.
Yeah, you've called me Chartanian before.
I have, actually, yeah. Maybe I should call you Vartanian, as in V-A-R-Tanian, because Spurs stole some points this weekend from Liverpool. Listen, all joking aside, it was an absolute farce. It was an embarrassment what happened this weekend with the VAR getting the on-field call wrong and getting confused and then ruling out the Luis Diaz goal. The red card in that match also you could debate, but it's not quite as soul-destroying as that call. But it got me thinking just in general what's wrong and right in the game. And most things are right in our sport. We like to complain and whine about all things, right? That's what we do as football fans. Most things are right. Some things aren't right. Are there things in the sport you have to see changed at some point? Maybe it's VAR, maybe it's not, or it could be anything you like. Bertie, let's start with you. You're still kind of on cloud nine. Mm-hmm. It was a big win in an intriguing, compelling match regardless, but where do you stand on where the game is right now?
The thing with VAR, I would rather do without it. It takes away a lot from the game. You know, now when we watch games and a team scores, you're watching as a fan and you're pausing yourself, knowing that, well, was that offside? Is there a tackle or a challenge they're going to go back to that happened in the midfield that no one even noticed, and they're going to reverse the call? So I would love to do without VAR, but with that said, it's only inevitable that this was going to happen. The technology is there. Every other sport used it. It's just the implementation and the execution in the Premier League is so bad. I don't understand how that happens. Like, how does a call like that happen where the on-field call is offside? The VAR checks it,
thinking it was given.
Thinking it's a goal, gives it the all clear, and boom, within 7 seconds, Spurs take the free kick, and now they're not going back on it.
Yeah.
How does that happen? And it's not VAR people keep saying VAR is the issue. VAR is not the issue. It's the people involved.
This is human error.
It's total human error, and VAR came in to eliminate human error, but it's impossible.
I'm like you. I mean, I don't like VAR. In a perfect world, there's no VAR, but it's not going anywhere.
No.
Right? It's here to stay. But how do you implement it? And this is just pure human error. So in this case, I mean, listen, it's 3 points potentially, who knows, but potentially cost Liverpool. That could be a championship. It could be a Champions League spot. It could cost this team literally hundreds of millions of pounds potentially. It's a terrible mistake. What do you do? Liverpool put out a statement today saying that they will, look and discuss and investigate and see what their options are. There are no options. You can't play the game again, right?
I think it's a matter though of it seems like the training, because as you said, it's the people, the actual humans running the VAR, and they're making the wrong calls when the technology is there giving you the right answer. So for me, and this is the thing is, Liverpool can say all they want, and I get it. You guys feel like you were robbed, but there's been so many errors this season, specifically in the Prem. So many teams have a reason right now to have an issue with VAR. And my thing is we're talking about the Premier League, the biggest league in football, the richest league in football. I mean, Saudi's making a good go here, but you know what I mean? This is embarrassing. And also the biggest match of the weekend. And you see the errors come in here. Clearly the training is not up to par, and I think they have to go back and go through it again, because it's been almost every weekend there's been a terrible VAR call in the Prem.
But this one wasn't even just training, it's just complete incompetence.
That's all that was, yeah.
How do you not know what the call in the field was? There's two of you. There's a VAR and an assistant VAR.
What about double checking? What's the assistant VAR there for?
Well, 100%.
Hey, I'm giving it the all clear. What do you say? I think
see the
it's
flag?
offside.
Yeah.
So it needs to be onside.
So
we have to reverse the call.
Suspended?
They were.
They were
dropped.
But what does that mean?
So that's exactly what I want to know. Is it it's a suspension? So when can they potentially come back? Is there going to be some sort of, are they going to be able to, give a chance for them to say, advocate for themselves? What's the process here? I want to know more about
there should be transparency, and that's what Liverpool are asking. We need transparency. Please tell us what actually happened there. I mean, if the guy comes out, and I won't mention his name's out there, I think that's a little bit unfair as well. We all make mistakes, the VAR.
Why don't you supposed to say his name?
Because he is going to be pilloried wherever he goes. He's a human being too. It's a mistake. We all make mistakes.
Yeah.
Right? He's a VAR. I don't really care who he is. He made a mistake. To me, he can be a disembodied, figure up there. It doesn't bother me. But I don't want to know his name, honestly. Because no matter whenever he's now moving forward, if he gets another job as a VAR, and he will at some point, maybe even in the next couple of weeks, that will be the story. Oh, guess who's in charge of VAR? Watch out.
We know Mike Dean's name. We
He's
know
a
it's
referee, though,
but
so
we
a
know
little
it's
bit different.
associated with him.
Yeah.
And you know what bothers me about the Premier League? They pride themselves as being the best in class, the best league in the world, most money, best players, but they won't invest in referees. Like just a couple weeks ago, we had Mike Dean on a podcast talking about how he made a decision based on his mate, so his mate wouldn't be under pressure.
Yeah.
He said after the fact when he was questioned about that, oh, maybe if I called him a colleague instead of mate, there wouldn't be such an outrage. This is what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
How can you keep doing that? And you mentioned it. This can cost Liverpool a title. This can cost Liverpool top 4. Imagine that was Luton, Everton, Sheffield United. That can cost them survival in the Premier League.
Yeah, exactly.
This is how big of a decision that is.
There's a scenario quite possible that Spurs pip Liverpool to a Champions League spot this year.
There's still a lot. There's still a lot
There
to
is.
go.
There
There's
is.
a
And
long
listen,
way to go.
We can complain about that maybe
Right.
in May, whenever it is. But I mean, Alan Shearer, he's actually come out and said, listen, he thinks there should be ex-players up in the VAR booth because they know the game better. Now that wouldn't have changed this. This is just incompetence. But with the red card, for example, to Curtis Jones, for example, players are saying to a person that that's not a red card. Whereas if you haven't played the game, you can see why it might be considered a red card. I don't know if I agree with ex-players being the solution here because I watch a lot of pundits every day on TV and in radio, and they don't know what they're talking about either, right?
The thing is with ex-players, though, there's always going to be that emotional connection they have to their team. Like, they are not going to be
That's a good point.
non-biased towards. I don't care who it is. If you have a former Man United player watching a Man United and Liverpool game, there's no way deep down inside that they're not going to be slightly leaning one side. Like, I think
that's
that
a
could
good
get...
point.
No, I mean, and that's natural, but then don't cross those lines.
And even if they're not, the fans are going to assume they are, and that's going to
Yeah.
bring a whole new world of anger and toxicity. Okay, so give me a reason. Give me something else in the game that you need to see removed from the game to see it improved.
Well, upon like all the like, I still wish there wasn't any VAR because I do think in a situation like this, if that had happened, we could blame human error, and that would have been okay. But like with VAR has just, I don't know. I've never liked it. I still don't want to. I don't care if the technology's here. I appreciated when those handball goals went in because it was just part of the game. It was just chaos. But the miking up of the refs as well. Hate that. I don't want no.
Really?
Is this American football? I don't want it. Like, I think they're just trying to do way too much and not focusing on the things that are more important.
But I think
like
that's
making the right call.
That's more for the live audience in the crowd because they're not getting the same visuals as we are at home.
For sure.
So they need that type of
But
transparency.
how many games have we all been to? I don't want to hear from the ref. I'm so fine. As a fan, you're there to watch the match.
Right.
I just think they're focusing on the wrong things when there are still huge mistakes happening like this over the weekend. You guys got to focus on that.
But I love that though because it provides clarity. You watch rugby, right? Rugby have VAR down to a fine art, right? It comes on the big screen. The referee's there. He's talking. He's breaking it all down. So there's no. You may disagree with him, but there's no debate as to why he's made the call, and it really works well. Now that being said, rugby have a lot more respect for their officials than soccer does. Only the captain can speak to the referee. The fans aren't like soccer fans. It's a little bit of a different environment, far more sophisticated. But yeah, I appreciate what you're saying there. I like it personally. Anything you get out of the game right now?
I'm trying to think. No, I mean, there's a lot that I love about the game. I mean, outside of VAR, I mean, they're going to make some tweaks to it. It'll change. It won't go away. Maybe the amount of games, because I feel like the quality in football is going to drop at a certain point. I mean, we're hearing a lot of players coming out talking about it. There needs to be some sort of change. And who was it who came out and said the players need to go on strike? Who said that?
Was it KDB?
No. So anyway, someone said that the only way it will change if the players decide to go on strike and say we're not playing all these games. That probably won't change because what are those games doing? They're filling people's pockets.
Then including the players.
Exactly.
The guys that are thinking about going on strike, they're getting enormous contracts because of the gate receipts of all these games.
Of course,
right?
yeah. But then you're seeing a lot more injuries, and you're going to have bigger squads, and the quality of players is going to dip when you have a bigger squad. Because, I mean, what's the going rate for a squad player now? Honestly, 50, 60 million? That's insane. Not everyone can afford that. What's
the big
Kai
clubs,
Havertz? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the number. Things need to change. It's not going to happen, but it should.
Every league of any sport complains about too many games. Right?
Okay, but football, they play way more. I don't want to hear about these NFL players playing once a week. Granted, they're getting knocked in the head, silly. But football is, I think they play the most games out of anyone.
Well, the biggest difference...
outside of like baseball.
Yeah.
Hockey's
but
82
baseball, they're
games.
also sitting eating chips on a bench. Like, I don't want to hear it. It's so not comparable, in my opinion. Like, they have break time. Same with basketball. You come in, you play a couple minutes, and then you get to sit on the bench. Football, you're basically playing 90 minutes.
You need
your starter.
football, soccer needs an off season.
Yeah.
It absolutely needs an off season, and that's almost impossible to do every 2 years with Copa America, Euro, and World Cup.
Olympics.
But now you're throwing in Nations League and the Conference League,
the
another
FIFA
European
Club World Cup
competition.
coming
Yeah.
as well, right?
It's a lot of football. For
There's
these
more
players.
chance of VAR going away than less games, unfortunately. 'Cause
No, I agree.
There's too much greed in the sport.
But there's not
It's
one
that
thing,
simple.
Sharms, that really pops up. Like you need
Besides
to get that
VAR.
out of the game. I don't know.
How
about-
about I'll go on for you. How about does my head in when you have subs who aren't ready and haven't put their shin pads on yet? it does my head in. Like, what
This
is
is
the
just one for
problem?
you.
Right, you're on the bench. You
Right.
might get in. Put your goddamn shin pads on.
They should be in already.
They should be on.
Yeah,
In your socks, taped up. Be ready. I just don't understand it.
yeah, I'm with you.
Few things like VAR I can handle. That. It's like, what are we waiting
Oh
for?
Yeah.
my goodness.
I'd say time wasting, but they're kind of clamping
Yeah,
down.
Trying to clamp down on that,
Yeah,
yeah.
What
they're
about
trying to.
away goals in the Champions League no longer being a thing. I actually
I'm
now
fine with it.
we had a whole season now without it, and honestly, I kind of miss away
do you?
goals meeting. Yeah,
the
just
drama
'cause-
of it?
Yeah, there was a bit more like to play for at home. It was a bit more like I don't know, controversial.
But I don't think
exciting.
the game suffered though last year, right?
I don't think
we
it
saw
suffered. I think
any,
it was
any
just a
teams
personal
just
thing.
mailing
I
it
don't mind
in.
the shin pads, but I'd like a goal at Barcelona to matter more than you know.
Of course, yeah. Well, the away goals, it did provide some amazing moments.
Well, that's because
Oh my
what I
God.
always think of is the Barcelona PSG game where Barcelona kept having to score
Yeah.
more goals because they were getting that goal. Like it just.
There's been a lot. Liverpool, Dortmund, Spurs,
Yeah,
Ajax.
exactly.
yeah.
There was just more to play.
But I think honestly, I think the game is in
pretty
a
good, right?
relatively good place. It's just these bad decisions. By the way, that's a catastrophic decision. What happened in the Liverpool Spurs game, but in the Brentford Forest game,
Yeah.
Matt Turner took down Johan Visa in the box. Clear penalty wasn't called.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, the
that's a
Wolves
lot.
Man U game a few weeks ago, same thing.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Right? And they
Yeah.
actually admitted that was a mistake as well.
How are these clear
That's what I
decisions being
mean.
missed?
It's the worst to
unbelievable.
admit the mistake. If you're Jurgen Klopp, would you rather them, take the high road? No, we had our reasons for it, or would you rather them say we're sorry?
well, they
we
kind
made a
of did,
mistake.
but then he said, "What's that going to do for us?
No,
Is it going to give
nothing.
us points?" And it's
Nothing
like,
at
well,
all.
gee, I don't know how to make you happy.
There's a
anymore,
big
Mr.
issue
Klopp.
between managers, players, and referees.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, we had Klopp trying to basically take out referees on the touchline, right? And they're getting abused a ton, and they're trying to fix that. And now there's going to be just no trust moving forward. I think Shearer said it yesterday. I mean, the trust is going to be a real issue between both sides.
It's a tough job, right?
It's
Being
not
official,
easy. No, it's
really
not.
difficult.
I mean, look
There's
at the
gonna
Curtis
be
Jones
mistakes.
situation. In real time, you're like, oh, he kind of went over the ball. Then you slow mo it and you pause it. You're like, oh, well, it looks
You can see
it
why
looks
it's a
like
red
he was
card.
pretty reckless there.
Yeah, I know. That's a tough one. It really is. Slow motion looks terrible. Full speed
Where are
is
you
not
with that?
nearly as bad.
I think it's in modern day now.
It's
It's red.
That's a red
probably.
card.
I think as soon as you see studs now, it's red.
Is it the journey or the destination? The destination was studs up on the guy's leg.
Yeah.
Where you could have broken him with a lot
Yeah,
of
it was
force.
way higher
Reckless
up than-
enough. Unfortunate. It could be harsh, but also the right call, I think.
Yeah.
But it's tough. Anyway,
50-50 ball. What are you going to do?
that's a sport. Listen, I think, like Bertie does, like you do, Sarah, I think the sport's in pretty good shape overall. We'll always be unhappy about something. This week it's VAR, and it might be the same next week. But you should still enter 442picks.ca. It's free to play. You can win prizes every week and every month. Room 442 is brought to you by North Star Bets. That's a win.